d'être là. Après 9 ans de Justin Trudeau et les libéraux, tout est brisé. La vie coûte plus cher avec la pire inflation depuis 40 ans. Le coût de nourriture a augmenté 37 % plus rapidement au Canada qu'aux États-Unis. Et c'est consistant avec l'application des taxes et les déficits inflationnistes de Justin Trudeau et des libéraux. Le coût de logement a doublé et a augmenté plus rapidement que parmi tous les pays du G7. Maintenant, 80 % des Canadiens croient que l'accès à la propriété n'est juste pour des très, très riches. L'écart entre les riches et les pauvres est le plus grand enregistré par Statistique Canada depuis 1999. Et notre poids par rapport aux États-Unis a diminué massivement. Dans les 14 premiers ans de la 21e siècle, on a eu plus d'investissements des Américains qu'ils ne l'ont eu de nous autres. Depuis 2015, par contre, il y a 500 milliards de dollars nets qui a fui notre pays pour aller investir aux États-Unis. Maintenant, il y a 9 ans, le revenu personnel moyen était égal au Canada par rapport aux États-Unis. Et maintenant, le PIB par capita, soit disons le revenu par personne, est 22 000 $ de plus aux États-Unis qu'au Canada. Et on voit les menaces qui augmentent à notre sécurité. Comme j'ai dit, tout est brisé. Et Justin Trudeau a perdu le contrôle. Il est un chef faible. Il a perdu le contrôle des dépenses, il a perdu le contrôle de l'immigration et il a perdu le contrôle de la frontière. La frontière est certainement brisée. Regardons les faits. Selon les documents du gouvernement fédéral, juste 500 000 personnes sont au Canada de manière illégale. Les saisies de doses de fentanyl par la patrouille frontalière américaine à la frontière entre les États-Unis et le Canada ont plus que triplé entre 2023 et 2024. Au cours des 12 mois précédents, septembre 2024, le patrouille frontalière américain a saisi 11 600 livres de drogue entrant aux États-Unis en provenance du Canada. En 2024, les gardes frontalières américains ont arrêté 10 fois plus de personnes traversant vers le sud depuis le Canada qu'en 2022. Chaque jour, 2 milliards de dollars de marchandises traversent physiquement la frontière entre les deux pays. Donc, c'est une relation qu'il faut préserver. Le Service canadien de renseignement de sécurité identifié, et je cite maintenant, 350 groupes de crimes organisés activement impliqués dans le marché intérieur du fentanyl illégal, selon Blacklocks et d'autres journalistes, d'après une demande de l'accès à l'information. Donc, nos services à renseignement ont averti notre premier ministre en janvier, presque il y a 1 an, qu'il y a 350 groupes criminels qui produisent le fentanyl. Et que fait le premier ministre? Il continue de voter pour la légalisation de fentanyl. Depuis que Trudeau a pris son poste de premier ministre, le nombre de rencontres de la patrouille frontalière aux Américains avec des personnes tentant d'entrer illégalement aux États-Unis depuis le Canada a augmenté de 632 %. Rien qu'au cours des 10 premiers mois de 2024, le patrouille frontalière américain a intercepté plus de 21 000 personnes traversant illégalement de notre frontière. Et on sait, c'est pas juste la frontière. Le fentanyl tue notre monde. On a perdu 47 000 personnes aux surdoses au Canada. C'est plus qu'on a perdu pendant la Deuxième Guerre mondiale. Les expérimentations de Justin Trudeau de légaliser les drogues, de financer des opioïdes, est une catastrophe monumentale qui va être étudiée à travers le monde comme l'un des pires échecs de la politique publique qu'on n'a jamais vu. La faiblesse de nos forces policières, nationales, policières, frontalières et de renseignement est à son sommet après 9 ans de Justin Trudeau. C'est pour ça qu'aujourd'hui, les conservateurs exigent que le gouvernement Trudeau présente rapidement au Parlement un plan Canada d'abord qui prévoit une augmentation des patrouilles, une collaboration avec des forces de l'ordre provincial, le déploiement de nouvelles technologies, la répression de la production et du trafic de drogue illégale, le resserrement des visas, la sécurisation de nos ports et l'élargissement du mandat des agents de l'agence frontalière afin de réparer notre frontière brisée. Je propose le suivant pour sécuriser notre frontière. Une augmentation des patrouilles frontalières, une collaboration avec des forces de l'ordre provincial, des nouvelles technologies, notamment les scanners, les hélicoptères, des tours et des drones. Un resserrement des règles en matière de visa, une répression de la production et du trafic de drogue, et une sécurisation de nos ports en augmentant le nombre d'agents sur le terrain et de scanners. Un élargissement du mandat des agents de l'agence frontalière pour qu'ils puissent appliquer la loi au-delà des postes de contrôle frontalier. Justin Trudeau a perdu le contrôle du déficit de l'immigration et de notre frontière, et dans moins de 2 mois, le président Trump entrera en fonction et il menace la possibilité des tarifs sur notre pays liés à la réparation de notre frontière. Depuis que Trudeau a pris son poste de premier ministre, le nombre de rencontres de patrouilles frontalières américaines avec des personnes tentant d'entrer illégalement aux États-Unis du Canada a augmenté de plus de 600 %. Rien qu'au cours des 10 premiers mois de 2024, la patrouille frontalière américaine a intercepté plus de 21 000 personnes. En plus, on sait que le ministre de l'Immigration lui-même, il a avoué que les libéraux ont perdu le contrôle de l'immigration, que l'immigration est devenue, et je cite, incontrôlable. Il a également admis avoir permis à 2 terroristes de l'État islamique d'entrer dans notre pays. Le gouvernement néo-démocrate libéral s'est contenté de regarder l'arrière du nombre de demandes d'asile d'entrée en flèche, passant de 10 000 à plus de 250 000, 25 fois plus élevé le nombre de gens qui sont ici, disons qu'ils sont réfugiés. Il y a actuellement au Canada jusqu'à 500 000 personnes ici illégalement selon les documents du gouvernement. Donc, on a vu aussi le nombre, le montant de drogue qui passe par la frontière augmenter plus rapidement que jamais dans notre histoire, et ça menace les vies des Canadiens et les vies des Américains. Donc, nous proposons que le gouvernement introduise ce plan-là et, consistant avec notre approche de dollar pour dollar, on devrait financer la réparation de notre frontière en annulant des chèques insultants et inflationnistes de 250 $ et en annulant le tour de passe-passe TPS, ce qui coûte cher et qui va causer de l'inflation et plus d'endettement. On doit être responsable et non pas électoraliste. On doit mettre le Canada d'abord. Ça veut dire annuler les dépenses de gaspillage. Ça veut dire couper aussi dans les consultants qui gaspillent notre argent et mettre l'argent dans les patrouilles et des services à la frontière. C'est comme ça qu'on va pouvoir financer ça sans ajouter à notre déficit qui est déjà hors de contrôle. En plus, les conservateurs engagent de permettre l'adoption d'une telle proposition, à moins que ce n'est pas attaché aux autres dépenses scandaleuses qui gaspillent de l'argent, et à moins que ce soit un vrai plan pour protéger et réparer le frontière que Justin Trudeau a brisé. Le Canada doit protéger ses propres citoyens. Nous devons mettre notre pays d'abord. Nous devons être responsables. C'est ce que nous aurons. Mon but et ma raison d'être, c'est de réparer ce que Trudeau a brisé et réinstaurer la promesse du Canada, c'est-à-dire que chaque personne qui travaille fort devrait avoir un grand chèque de paie et pension qui permettent d'acheter de nourriture et de logement dans des communautés sécuritaires. Tout ça, ça prend des frontières. Tout ça prend une bonne relation avec nos amis américains, et c'est ce que nous allons livrer. Thank you very much for coming here today, everybody. After 9 years of Justin Trudeau, everything is broken. Work doesn't pay. Housing costs have doubled, rising faster than in any other G7 country, to the point where 80% of Canadians now, for the first time ever, believe home ownership is just for the very rich. Vancouver and Toronto are now among the most expensive housing markets in the world. We have 1,400 homeless encampments in Ontario alone, 35 in Halifax. Food prices have risen 37% faster in the United States than they have in Canada, a gap that has appeared and widened with the application of the carbon tax on the farmers who grow our food and the truckers who ship our food. A tax that Justin Trudeau and the NDP Liberals now want to quadruple to 61 cents a litre, which would not only starve our people and kill our jobs, but would grind our economy to a halt. We know that President Trump would be calling all of our businesses, welcoming them to leave Canada and go south of the border where there is no carbon tax and where other taxes are dropping. It would be a gigantic sucking sound of Canadian jobs, businesses, and money heading south that would add to the already $500 billion of net outflow of investment from Canada to the U.S. that has happened since Justin Trudeau took office 9 years ago. After 9 years of Trudeau, we've gone from having equal median income. Canadian and American workers made the same amount of money 10 years ago, to income per person now $22,000 higher in the United States than it is here in Canada, after 9 years of high taxes, more bureaucracy, and doubling of our national debt. And then there is the broken immigration, broken budget, and broken border. Justin Trudeau is a weak leader who has lost control of spending, lost control of immigration, and lost control of our border. And don't take my word for it. Look at the facts. His own government admits there are as many as 500,000 people in Canada illegally. We know that seizures of fentanyl doses by U.S. Border Patrol at U.S.-Canada border have more than tripled between last year and this year. In 12 months to September 2024, 11,600 pounds of drugs have been seized by U.S. Border Patrol agents at the Canada-U.S. border. In 2024, U.S. border guards caught 10 times more people sneaking southward from Canada than in 2022. This is a problem that we expect will only get worse because we have 700,000 international students here now that Trudeau and his former immigration minister, Sean Fraser, hinted that they would be able to stay permanently. And now suddenly that message has reversed, and Trudeau and the NDP Liberal government say that their plan is to hope with the honor system that they will leave voluntarily. CSIS, and then there's the drugs. CSIS, I'm quoting now from a document obtained by Access to Information by Blacklock's reporter. This is a briefing note the Prime Minister received almost a year ago. CSIS identifies more than 350 organized crime groups actively involved in the domestic illegal fentanyl market. And what has Trudeau done since he got this information back in January, almost a year ago? Absolutely nothing, other than try to legalize and liberalize these same drugs. He has weakened our borders, and he doesn't even inspect 99% of shipping containers that come into our country. Since Trudeau became Prime Minister, there's been a 632% increase in U.S. border control encounters with people illegally attempting to enter the United States from Canada. In the first 10 months of 2024 alone, U.S. Border Patrol has intercepted more than 21,000 people illegally crossing our border. And on top of that, doesn't include the dangers that are coming into Canada from the United States because of Trudeau's broken border. According to Toronto police, 82% of gun crime is done with American guns that Trudeau allows over our borders because of the weak inspection system and the drugs that come across the border, the existence of Roxham Road and other illegal border crossings that Justin Trudeau opened right after he put out a tweet to the entire world saying, "Welcome to Canada, come on in, we'll invite anybody across our borders." That chaos has persisted. It is clear that after 9 years, Trudeau is not worth the cost, the crime, the corruption, and the chaos. He has lost control of our border, lost control of immigration, lost control of our finances. And that is why today I am calling on the government to fix Trudeau's broken border. I'm demanding that the Trudeau government quickly present a Canada First plan to Parliament that includes increased patrols, working with provincial law enforcement, deploying new technology, cracking down on illegal drug production and trafficking, tightening visas, securing our ports, and expanding the mandate of CBSA officers to fix the broken border. These new technologies would include scanners, helicopters, towers, drones. We also propose temporarily deputizing provincial law enforcement whose premiers wish to fill in the holes the Trudeau government has caused. This, of course, is I'm embarrassed that we even have to suggest this, but it would be a temporary measure to fix what Trudeau, or to patch up the holes that Trudeau has opened. We need a real crackdown on illegal drug production and trafficking by reversing, for example, the C5 changes that Trudeau brought in, which reduced penalties for production and trafficking of hard drugs. We need boots on the ground, scanners all around, and a stronger border. We need to expand the mandate of CBSA officers to enforce the law beyond border posts. The reality is that Trudeau has lost control of the deficit of immigration and of our border. In less than 2 months, President Trump will come into office. He has threatened the possibility of imposing tariffs unless there is action to address Trudeau's broken border. Since Trudeau became Prime Minister, there have been massive increases in illegal border activity. It is his job to immediately introduce action to solve it. Now, it's not just for Donald Trump. Frankly, we have to acknowledge that he is the new President of the United States of America, and we have to protect our economic interests, but we have to protect our own interests. It is unacceptable for Canadians to have 47,000 overdose deaths. It is unacceptable for Canadians to have 350 crime groups actively producing and shipping fentanyl. It is unacceptable for Canadians to have $100 billion of money laundering. It is unacceptable for Canadians to see a 200% increase in overdose deaths. Even if President Trump were not calling for this action, we should be doing it for our own country and for our own interests. And these increased border measures should be paid for using the dollar-for-dollar principle, which will guide my government. And that is why I'm proposing to fund a bolstered border. The Prime Minister should cut high-priced CBSA consultants and cancel the $6 billion of insulting inflationary spending, the 2-month tax trick, and the inflationary checks. That money will only give us more inflation while jacking up debt. A $250 check will not mean anything to someone who loses their job because of a tariff dispute. A 10-cent savings on a bag of pretzels will not mean anything to a mother who's lost her child to an overdose of drugs. And as for getting it passed, while we will plan to continue insisting that the Trudeau government stop blocking Parliament and release all the data to the police on the Green Slush Fund scandal, we will make accommodations to quickly pass a border plan if it goes towards fixing Trudeau's broken border. But we can get it done. There are no excuses. Justin Trudeau has had 9 years, and the results are a disaster. But the good news is, life was not like this before Justin Trudeau, and it won't be like this after he's gone. We're going to bring home a common sense plan, axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. That requires a strong, robust border, like the one we had before Trudeau, with boots on the ground, with security at our ports and other land entries. It means a stronger armed forces, stronger police, and stronger law enforcement. It means protecting our people against the world's dangers. All of this is for the singular purpose that I am running for Prime Minister, which is to restore Canada's promise. That is, a country where hard work earns a powerful paycheck and pension that buys affordable food and homes in safe neighborhoods. A country where anyone from anywhere can do anything. In Canada, let's bring it home.
Thank you. We'll now take questions from the floor. Thank you. Jeremy from CTV News. Your party continues to lead public opinion polls. If you form government, how quickly would you meet NATO's defense spending target of 2%?
That's a good question. First of all, let's all acknowledge that I will be inheriting a dumpster fire of a budget. The national debt has been doubled. The deficit is raging out of control. We know last year's deficit was at least 20% bigger than Trudeau claimed. The Prime Minister won't even tell us what this year's deficit is after having asked him all of those times. Our economic growth is collapsing. Per capita GDP dropped for 6 quarters in a row. I'm not saying this to dodge your question. I'm just telling you the mess I'm going to be inheriting, because we have to fund our military out of the money that we have. What I have said so far is that I will be cutting foreign aid, but taking money away from dictators, terrorists, and global bureaucracies. I'll be cutting back office bureaucracy and ending the procurement boondoggles. We will put all of that extra savings into rebuilding our armed forces, expanding the reserves, and deepening our presence in the north to protect our part of North America and reassure our American allies that we are a solid security partner. That is going to be necessary, not just for our security, but for our economy.
Thank you. Next question.
Good morning, Mr. Poilievre. JP Tasker, CBC News. Can I ask you about asylum seekers? The number of asylum seekers has essentially tripled over the last 7 years. We're up to 130,000, on pace for more this year. The number of resettled refugees has also doubled. Is it time for a hard cap on the number of asylum seekers and refugees, and what's an acceptable number to you?
It is time for a cap, and it's time to get rid of all of the abuse. One of the problems we have now is that Trudeau got rid of the visa requirement for Mexico and basically allowed thousands of people to come here who are not refugees, who are ultimately rejected as refugees, but only after many years of us paying their bills and funding their legal cases and paying for the bureaucracy of treating their case. We need to shut off the flow of false refugee claims who are in no danger in their country of origin, but who are sneaking in either through our porous border, through our weak visa system, and then when they land here, making a false claim. And by the way, I'm not accusing them of making false claims. The refugee board ultimately finds those claims are false. But in the interim period, we're stuck with the false claimant for 5, 6, 7 years. And this is putting enormous strain on our housing market, our healthcare system, and our job market, where our Canadian jobs are being taken by black market, under the table workers that take cash and ultimately deprive our people of jobs. Now, I have real refugees. I love real refugees. Our country was built in large part by real refugees who were genuinely fleeing danger, like my wife. But I have no time for people who lie to come into our country, and that is the problem we have to cut off. And when we do, we can get back to the normal levels of refugee counts that we had before Justin Trudeau, the numbers that we can absorb, care for, and employ, and that's what we will do when I'm Prime Minister.
Thank you. Next question.
Good morning. Najuda Maliziknian Press. On the issue of what you would cut and what you would fund, what do you say to Canadians who are currently receiving dental coverage through the Canada Dental Care Plan? Can they expect to continue receiving coverage if a Conservative government forms?
Well, right now we have a lot of promises from Justin Trudeau. The biggest winner so far has been Sun Life, the insurance company that got the contract to deliver this. And Justin Trudeau is making a lot of very big promises, but on all of those promises he's failing to deliver. So we're carefully looking to find out what numbers are true. We're not going to regurgitate government numbers that prove always to be false later on. I think it's unfortunate that so many in the media simply regurgitate government talking points rather than actually doing the serious analysis. I mean, you guys all reported that the carbon tax was going to make people better off, and then what did we find out from the parliamentary budget officer? That 100% of middle-class Canadians are worse off from the carbon tax. 60% of the population will pay more than they get back. But if we had simply believed the talking points from the government that the media regurgitated, we would have been fooled like all of you. So am I going to just take Justin Trudeau's word for it on these promises? No, I'm not. I'm going to look at the numbers and see what he's actually delivering and then act in the interest of all Canadians. Thank you.
Next question.
Bonjour, Félix Pilon de Radio-Canada. La rencontre de Justin Trudeau vendredi soir avec M. Trump, d'abord, est-ce que vous croyez qu'elle a été concluante et qu'est-ce que vous auriez fait de mieux?
C'était un peu triste de voir la faiblesse de Justin Trudeau encore. On aurait dû être là pour faire des gains pour le Canada. Mais il ne propose aucun gain. Il essaie simplement de minimiser les pertes. Dans les années Harper, on cherchait les gains, comme le fin aux tarifs sur le bois d'œuvre, ce qu'on a accompli, ou l'exemption aux politiques de Buy America pour permettre nos entreprises de construction d'exporter leurs produits pour les grands projets américains, ce qu'on a accompli. Mais aujourd'hui, Justin Trudeau n'essaie même pas d'avoir des gains, il essaie simplement de minimiser les pertes sur, par exemple, le tarif de 25% qui est menacé et possible. Et c'est pas possible, on ne peut pas simplement blâmer le fait qu'il y a un président agressif. M. Trudeau a eu des pertes de M. Biden et M. Obama aussi. C'est M. Biden qui a doublé les tarifs sur le bois d'œuvre, qui tue des emplois, y compris dans les régions du Québec. Et que fait Justin Trudeau? Est-ce qu'il annonce de son retour ici au Canada que le président Trump va mettre fin aux tarifs sur le bois d'œuvre, comme M. Harper a pu faire avec M. Bush? Est-ce qu'il annonce une extension au Buy America? Non. Il dit que peut-être on va pouvoir éviter une autre perte. Éviter des pertes, ce n'est pas un gain. Il nous faut un premier ministre qui est assez fort, est assez intelligent pour faire face à Donald Trump et pour défendre nos intérêts afin de faire des gains, d'enlever les obstacles et de protéger les emplois et la sécurité des Canadiens.
In English, please.
Oh, thank you. All right. What was the question again? I'm sorry. The question about the meeting. Look, I just felt. I'm a critic of Mr. Trudeau's. I did feel badly that he went in with such a position of weakness. Normally, when a prime minister goes to the United States to meet a president, they're looking to make gains. What gains did we hear from Mr. Trudeau? None. He's just trying to limit losses. Did he come back saying we're going to get an exemption to Buy America, like Harper achieved from Bush? No. Buy America is still in place. Did he say we're going to get an end to the softwood lumber tariffs, like Prime Minister Harper got from President Bush? No. Not only are they still in place, Biden just doubled them. All Justin Trudeau offers is minimizing losses. Now, this is the consequence of having a weak prime minister who's lost control of our borders, lost control of immigration, lost control of crime and drugs, and lost control of our economy. And Canadians are paying a dreadful price for everything that Justin Trudeau has broken. And we need a strong prime minister who has the brains and backbone to put Canada first and to fight for our workers and our security.
Canada first,
Thank you.
Canada
This will
always,
be the final
Canada
question.
forever.
Mickey here with Politico. Who from Trump's transition team have you or your party been in touch with since the U.S. election?
I'm not the prime minister. Thank you very much.